Hi there! Welcome to Get Gardening. On today's episode, I want to show you all the beautiful iris and the alliums that have been blooming in my front and backyard. And I also want to take you into the house and show you how I utilize some of these iris as beautiful cut flowers. So here I am in my front yard, and the iris that I have up along the front of the house are just looking magnificent. Mostly I planted blue iris here, although you can see there is a purple one and a peach one. Although that peach one, I'm not even sure I purchased it, so perhaps it was kind of like a freebie that I got. But it does look nice as well. This is a perennial wallflower in the front here. And I'll just take you and show you some of the iris. I don't know the names of all of them, but I do know some of their names. I know this is Victoria Falls. It's a beautiful blue one. What I do like about having a purple one like this, the color is so vibrant that it's hard to actually pick it up on the camera, or for me to see if it's picking it up. But what I like about a purple one like that is that it really makes the blue ones that I have look more blue. Sometimes without a purple iris like that, those blue ones can look just like a pale purpley lavender color. But up against it, you really can tell they're blue. Our new bushes that I planted, some sandleaf cherries. And I'll take you in the back and show you the alliums over a few days so you can see them at their peak and then see them with the iris in the back as they begin to open. This is one of my favorite iris. This is called Sugar Me Blues, and it is a reblooming iris, and every year in October without fail it reblooms. So I love iris so much. I only am sad that they last such a short time, but this one helps to make up for that I get to see this one twice in the year. So I put it on both sides of this sidewalk. That's Sugar Me Blues again. I think the iris really look beautiful up against the Amsania that I have here as well. And this lupin that's in the front there, that is a lupin that it's in its 7th year right now. It's the oldest lupin in my collection, and I grew that one from seed 7 years ago, so I took a cutting of it this year just to help make sure that I have it in my collection for years to come. I like that one because it opens kind of pink, but eventually it'll fade to a blue. So just over here, the light quality isn't the best because the sun is just rising, but I'll show you some of these as well. So sorry for the light transition. This white one is called Immortality, and it's a reblooming one as well. However, I never really get to see it because by the time it blooms again, it's already later into November, and it usually gets nipped by the frost. You can tell this garden is getting ready to be at that full peak blossom time. The dianthus in the front are opening. I see color on the peonies. The buds on the roses are swelling. I see a hint of color on this lupin. And the lupin that's blooming in the new garden is already almost done, but I had purchased that one, so when this bed does open up as much as possible, I will come and show you it because it is a wonderful garden at its peak. I'm not sure it'll look as great this year as last year just because I divided and moved so many things, and usually that does change the display a little bit because the plants take a year or two to adjust. So we'll see what it looks like. I'm excited for it. But at the moment, I'm just really loving all the iris that are in the front of my house. Alright, I'll go in the back and I'll show you the alliums over the course of a few days, and I'll also take you in the house and show you how I use some of these iris as cut flowers. So I just wanted to take you to the backyard and give you a shot of the alliums at their peak, and they're looking absolutely gorgeous right now. But they don't last for very long, so they'll only last in this fully open state for a day or two, and it's going to be extremely hot in this week that's coming. We're predicted to have weather in the upper 80s for most of the week, so I'm afraid that sadly these won't last so long. But there's purple sensation here up at the front, you can see, and the taller ones are my Gladiator Alliums, and I just think they're looking marvelous. So pretty. For some reason at my old house I used to have alliums that would open with all the irises and all the peonies and the lupins, but for some reason at this house the alliums seem to open earlier. Okay, so it's been a couple days since I filmed the alliums, and you can see that they have started to fade. There still is some color on them, but it was in the 90s for the last couple days, and it's still quite warm out here as well. But I figured I'd come and show you some of the iris back here since they look so lovely. I really love that blue one that you can see. It's like a light blue color on top with almost like black underneath. I think it's so beautiful. Like I said, irises are definitely one of my favorite flowers, and when they are in bloom they just make me so happy. I just love coming out and seeing them in the garden. They come in so many different colors. So cheerful. Over here I have a rose blooming. This is a hybrid tea rose. This is Peace. And the very first rose that I ever owned about 20 years ago when I started gardening was a peace rose. And I've always wanted to add one to this garden, and finally I was able to do it. Behind it you can see there's another Immortality white iris blooming. I like that this one's not just white. There is a hint of lavender on it. You see, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but inside there's touches of lavender. This one, I believe, is called Heavenly Body, and I didn't know if it made it in the collection. It hasn't bloomed for a couple years, and this is one that I would like to add to the front garden because it's just perfect for the colors that are up there. It's pink with white, and at my old house it really was a prolific bloomer. You can see there's many more still getting ready to open. And when I put these here, I didn't know what they were, so I've been waiting for them to bloom, and some of them haven't bloomed in a year or two, so I'm really looking forward to seeing all these open so I can figure out what variety they are. And I showed you this one last time, but it has even more blooming right now. And this tall rose behind it. And in the vegetable garden, this is where I have some iris that I just planted there so I could harvest them and bring them into the house to utilize as cut flowers. And there's some beautiful ones open, and I'll show you the ones that I have in the house. So here I am actually in my house because all of these iris were blooming in my vegetable garden where I have my cut flower bed, and I just couldn't resist picking them because they look so beautiful in the house. All the different colors. I also know that this yellow one is called Cloth of Gold. So there's a few ones that I do know the name of. But I just love having iris in the garden and in the house. There's just nothing that beats them in my opinion. The color range of them, their size, They're such a magnificent plant. I wish they bloomed a little bit longer for me. Well, I wanted to end this video back in my front yard where you can see there's a beautiful butterfly on the wallflower. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like and subscribe and are able to get out there and get gardening.